Okay, if you have any questions, if you just interrupt me anytime, I'm gonna just try to keep an eye in the chat as well. So just if you want to type anything, we can have a look. So let's start trying to understand what are crypto wallets and what is their purpose and what they do. So there is two main types of crypto wallets. The first type is custodial wallet and the second type is non-custodial. Uh, Crypto wallets are born let's say like in a non-custodial way, we can say, because they are a decentralized way to hold your private keys and your public keys. So the main difference is that in the custodial wallets, similarly to like Coinbase, Kraken or Binance, you don't hold your private keys. And then we're gonna see a bit better what is your private key. Whether the non-custodial, you are your own bank. So things like Metamask, Kukai, Ledger. So you are the owner of your own key, and in a way, you are your own bank. A lot of people say, not your keys, not your coin. What does it mean? By custodial means that you are entrusting a third party to keep your private keys for you. So basically, if there is a problem with Coinbase and Coinbase stop accessing your wallet, or Coinbase is hacked, then your coins are gonna basically be gone. You don't have access to your private key. Whether in your private key, all the responsibility is not entrusted to a third party, but is entrusted to you. That is something that is very good about decentralization, something that is a bit scary as well, because let's say like if you lose your keys, you lose access to your belongings as well. So a lot of people, I think, let's say like a lot of people don't understand what is the power about being your own bank and being in control of your money, especially because people that are new to crypto, maybe they go to a centralized exchange like Kraken or Binance, and then they buy their first coins through there. That is nothing bad into that. It's actually very good, but let's say like services are in an easy way coming up, but they don't give that decentralized ownership, we can say, of your belongings. So when we're gonna discuss a wallet, we are gonna only discuss non-custodial wallets today. So basically, wallets are applications that let you interact with your crypto account. Your wallets, they simply basically do two things. That is basically, store your private keys and sign transactions. When you have a crypto account, originally with Bitcoin it was called a crypto wallet, that is this like pair of public and private key. We need to make a distinction between what is a wallet and what is into the wallet. Into your wallet there is only your private keys and your public keys. Everything that is into your account is into the blockchain. So it is not, that if you have something into the ledger or you have something into the Metamask, you lose your ledger, you lose your coins or your NFTs. Your NFTs are safe on the blockchain. What the wallet store is your private key and your public key. What your wallet allows you to do is to interact with other smart contract or other applications, similar, let's say like an internet banking app, and allows you to sign those transactions. So what is a crypto account then? A crypto account is an entity that can send transaction and there's a balance. So when maybe you're more comfortable with MetaMask. If you go into MetaMask, you're gonna see, your balance. This is the amount of Ethereum that is into your account, and then your crypto account is gonna be able to sign those transactions. And how do you sign this transaction? You sign this transaction through a wallet. So what are the public and the private key basically? So you need to consider that we have this kind of like very complicated algorithm that spits out a private key and a public key that are mathematically linked from each other. So one, for example, this one is the public one, is the one that you share with the people. And the other private key is the one that is kept secret. Why is it important to keep it secret? Because this one is what gives you access to your funds and what let you sign those transactions, so enables you how to spend your funds. This one is just an address. So basically we can say that a public key is similar as a concept. You can compare it to your email address. It's what you share with other people if you need to receive something. You know, let's say like normally a public key is then identified as an address. It's a simplified way to have a public key, and instead we can say that a private key gives you the ability to prove the ownership of these funds and then to spend these funds. I'm gonna show you as well what I intend for in Ethereum, for example. Let me just bring up. Okay, in Ethereum, for example, you have a private key and a public key, and this public key is simplified into an Ethereum address. This is much simpler, you know, let's say like to keep your address. Your public key is then simplified into an Ethereum address, and the Ethereum address is, for example, now with Ethereum is the same, with Tezos is the same. There is this name services that allows you to, instead of remember these very difficult combination of letters and numbers, you just remember, for example, verticalcrypto.it. Then, you know, let's say like allows you to share your public key in a very simple way and a very mnemonic way. How are these things working together? I think before understanding how these things working together, we need to understand the concept of asymmetric encryption and what basically crypto and decentralization are trying to solve. It's a cryptographic problem. I have a little videos that I'm gonna share with you. I'm gonna just reshare my screen now and we can watch it all together. Okay.
Encryption is the process of taking it.
Can you confirm that you can hear the audio?
You
can hear it.
And scrambling its contents
Perfect.
so that only certain people can look at your message. There are two types of encryption, symmetric and asymmetric encryption. Let's first take a look at symmetric encryption to understand why asymmetric encryption was created.
Let me see.
To do that, let me introduce you to Alice and Bob. Alice has a sensitive document that she wants to share with Bob. She uses an encryption program to protect her document with a password or passphrase that she chooses. She then sends the encrypted document to Bob. However, Bob cannot open this message because he doesn't know the passphrase that Alice used to encrypt the document. In other words, he doesn't have the key to open the lock. Now comes a real problem. How does Alice share this passphrase securely with Bob? Sending it through email is risky because others might find the passphrase and use it to decrypt any messages between Alice and Bob. This is exactly the kind of problem that asymmetric encryption intends to solve. It is comparable to a mailbox on the street. The mailbox is exposed to anyone who knows its location. We can say that the location of the mailbox is completely public. Anyone who knows the address can go to the mailbox and drop in a letter. However, only the owner of the mailbox has a key to open it up and read the messages. So let's now go back to technical details. When using asymmetric encryption, both Alice and Bob have to generate a key pair on their computers. A popular and secure way for doing this is by using the RSA algorithm. This algorithm will generate a public and private key that are mathematically linked to each other. Public keys can be used to encrypt data, and only the matching private key can be used to decrypt it. Even though the keys are linked together, they cannot be derived from each other. In other words, if you know someone's public key, you cannot derive his private key. If we retake our mailbox example, then the mailbox's address would be the public key, something that everyone is allowed to know. The owner of the mailbox is the only one who has the private key, and that is needed to open up the mailbox. Let's now take a look at how Alice and Bob can use asymmetric encryption to communicate securely with each other. They start by exchanging their public keys. Bob gives his public key to Alice, and Alice gives her public key to Bob. Now Alice can send her sensitive document again. She takes the document and encrypts it with Bob's public key. She then sends the file to Bob, who uses his private key to unlock the document and read it. Because they use asymmetric encryption, only Bob is able to decrypt the message. Not even Alice can decrypt it because she doesn't have Bob's private key. The strength and security of the asymmetric encryption now relies on Alice and Bob to keep their private keys well protected. If an attacker steals Alice's private key, it can be used to decrypt all messages that are intended for Alice. However, the attacker cannot decrypt messages that were sent by Alice because that requires Bob's private key. Asymmetric encryption is used in a lot of places where security really matters. You might not be aware of it, but every time you visit a secure website via HTTPS, you're actually using asymmetric encryption. It's also being used to securely send emails with the PGP protocol. And one last example, Bitcoin also uses asymmetric encryption to make sure that only the owner of a money wallet can withdraw or transfer money from it. So now you know how asymmetric encryption.
Okay. So what is the interesting part here is that your private key is what is really important and is what allows you to just confirm, okay, I'm the owner of this address and I can spend the funds. You're gonna probably say, okay, but I've never seen this private key. Where is this private key? How does it work? This private key is stored by your wallet, so you don't have to remember it. You don't have to basically just every time input it. So it's all made, let's say like automatically, so you don't have to just worry about your private key. But it's important that your private key is private only to you, because if people has your private key, they can derive the public key out of it, whether the opposite is not possible. So if somebody has the public key, because of the asymmetric encryption, you cannot derive the private key. But if you have the private key, then you can also you also know your public key.
Works and what
Let me just share my screen again. There we go. If you have any questions by now, let's say like, okay, is it possible to have more than one public keys in the same private key? In a way, basically, in a Bitcoin standard called BIP32, they started to create a special private key that allows you to generate a very large amount of public and private keys coupled. So, and I think that is also related to what seed phrase is creating. Let's go into that right now. Actually, before what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you via MetaMask. I've prepared an account that is a new account. So even if you know my private key or my seed phrase is not important because it's an account that I created spot on for this situation. So when you are into your MetaMask account, this one is okay with, like, you work with Temple Wallet or any other hot wallet. This one is your address and basically is derived from your public key. And if you go into your account details, you can see here again in your address, and you can see your private key. You need to input your password, of course, because for security. Okay, so this one is your private key. If somebody has this private key, then he can derive your public key and access to your funds. If you maybe you know an artist called Kevin Abosch. He did this art piece called "This is a Bank," that basically said, okay, this is a bank, and he shared this private key. So just to let you understand what a private key can do, I'm gonna copy this private key and import it into my MetaMask, into my hot wallet. I'm using MetaMask just for convenience because probably, let's say, like, it's the one that most people are using, or very simple to have on different chains. So what you can do, you can import an account by private key, and simply by posting this private key in here, I can access directly the account. You see, this is not my account, it's a new account. And actually there is 0.0002 ETH in it. I cannot see any activity from here, but what I can see, if I go to a block explorer, I can see that there has been many transactions, going through this account. A lot of people has been using. This one was an experiment that Kevin Abosch did a few years ago, just sharing a private key, and some people paid some Ethereum into it. Some people, then took it out. Some people did some DeFi loans as well. So it was quite interesting to see what people was doing with a public private key. But this one as well, I'll give you an understanding of why your private key need to be safe and why it can be important to store it in a different place, that is your computer or the internet. Because when your private key is on your hot wallet, like MetaMask, Temple and the like, and is on your computer, people can access it by hacking, by phishing, or many other different kind of attack. So if we normally, when you set up MetaMask account, MetaMask wallet, or even a Ledger wallet, you have a seed phrase. It's probably, let's say, like, is what you have written down in a piece of paper, and is a few different words. How does the seed phrase works? So a seed phrase was introduced as well by a Bitcoin standard called BIP39. And these are a way to create a master private key that basically is a way to get a mnemonic way to get your very difficult complicated string of numbers. So because your private key is difficult to remember and to analyze, what you're gonna do, you're gonna just create a set of words that are part of a dictionary, and the way these words are put together is going to be converted in something like this, and then finally, let's say, like, it's going to become a string of numbers that is going to go back to your private key. Also, what's happened before with the BIP32 was the way to derive many public keys and private keys with a single master private key. So the process works a bit like that. You create a private master key, and this one is created with your seed phrase. So when you create a seed phrase, you have this master private key, and this master private key can generate another set of private keys, and so basically you can create a very large amount of accounts. So going back to what you've asked, Occult, is if you go back into the MetaMask account, now I've input my seed phrase, I've created my first account pair, now I'm gonna create another account, and I have another account. If I can create another account, I have another account. Each of these accounts, they have a public key and a private key. That's why, you know, in a way we can say that from a single seed phrase, you can generate a master private key and then generate a very large amount of public and private keys. I know it's all probably sound quite complicated. It is not that difficult. But basically, you know, it's just made in steps. At the beginning, of course, you know, let's say like the evolution of the blockchain and the cryptographic way to solve different problems was, you know, more simple. You know, they created the public private keys, and then they said, okay, you know, let's create one where I can derive many more, and then they said, okay, Hypericon is asking, are those created accounts linked between them? Can you track the original wallet? Yes. So basically, if somebody has your seed phrase, and so your master private key can derive all the other accounts. So in this, let's say like, let's put it like that. If I'm gonna share this private key, I'm gonna have access only to account 1. I'm not gonna have access to account 3, account 4, account 5. But if I have access to your seed phrase, then I can access all your accounts. Account 1, account 2, account 3. Yes, so basically your seed phrase can generate is a very large number. I think it's about 2 billion. So basically, if we want to have a look at how this works, how the seed phrase is working. So the seed phrase, so basically you have these, for example, like 24 words seed phrase that are encrypted using a password, and then, you know, let's say like create this private key. And then, you know, let's say like because you have using encrypting this one with this password and this hierarchical deterministic path, what you're gonna do, you're gonna create a set of numbers. And you are asking if you can track like with Etherscan. Pericon, what is it that you want to know if we can track? No, so basically from Etherscan on, from any other person that doesn't know the seed phrase, the accounts are not linked to each other. There is no way to know that one account is linked to each other. The only way to know that is to regenerate the private key and the public key out of the seed phrase. So you can consider it in a way you can never go from the starting point you can go forward, but from the end point you cannot go backward. So from a public address you cannot go back to your private key or to understand the relation between between them. If you actually instead go from the private key to the public key, you can do that. And I'm gonna, so Occulted is asking, when you recover the seed phrase in the MetaMask, it opens every account instantly, or do you have to do something else to open these other accounts? I believe MetaMask is opening the first 4 accounts, but even if you click just add account, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th are gonna automatically picked up because they are created in a deterministic way. So it's gonna create those 2 billion pairs of private key and public key are gonna be always the same. So you can, once you have your seed phrase, you can get all the accounts. And even if MetaMask, if you created, for example, 10 accounts, you uninstall MetaMask and you create MetaMask. This one, for example, is a test network. So you see I have more than 1 account. So into this test network, what you do, you let's say like, I have 15 accounts. If I'm gonna reinstall this MetaMask, I'm gonna get the first 4. And if I'm gonna click add account, I'm gonna then get all the other, because basically they are, in a way, all these private and public keys are already created. So all the combinations. And Boria is asking, is there a way to delete accounts on MetaMask? I accidentally created several and now it's a bit confusing in my wallet. Actually, there is not a way to delete them. Let me just see. But no, I think you can remove them. If you do, let's see, this account 4, account details. No, I think the accounts that are being created directly from your seed phrase, they cannot. But for example, this one that I have imported, yes, I can remove account, but because it was an imported account. I think, the problem with this hot wallet right now, is that when people have more than 1 account, they would like to reorder them and probably just, you can rename them, but if you have 10 accounts and you use mostly the 9th one, it's difficult to reorder them. So whatever you've created from your seed phrase is gonna stay into your MetaMask. Yes, the best thing in here is just to rename them. It's quite easy. You just go here and you can do the same with Temple Wallet and the other ones. Test 1. And then, let's say, so that this one is the test 1, and then maybe you can say, okay, this one is my, I don't know, like, private, and whatever. Okay, so now that we did a bit of the technical stuff, so where are your coins and NFTs stored? So your NFTs and your coins are, oh sorry, there is another question. Hypericon is asking, with the private key, can you export a wallet independent of the others? Yes, correct. So basically, let's go back to the example of Kevin Abosh. So this is a private key. It's not, we can call it a seed phrase or a seed private key. This is just a single account private key. So what I can do, I can go into the account and I can import it. And then I have it. But because I have only the single private key, the only thing that I can do is just to get this account. So for example, if now I want to give let's say that I've created account 4 with my seed phrase, and I'm gonna share it with my friend because he's our, I don't know, we want, you know, let's say like we created a DAO and is our DAO wallet. So then what I can do, I can export this private key and just share with him this private key. It's not very secure because I will always have access as well, you know, because I have also the seed phrase. Is more secure for me, but yes. If someone accesses your private key, they can access your other private keys linked to your seed phrase? No, this is not possible. If someone accesses your private key, they can access of a single account, they can only access that single account. If they access your seed phrase, they can get all your accounts. It's important to understand this one, because from your seed phrase, that is, we can call it your master password, your master private key, your seed phrase, they access all your accounts. If they access your single account private key, they can only do by that one. It's important to understand where things are stored on the blockchain, because many people, you know, let's say like they are thinking, okay, you know, let's say like if I have an hardware wallet and I lose my hardware wallet, do I lose my funds? No. So your hardware wallet is just a more secure way to store your private keys, because what's happened with Metamask and what's happened with all these like digital hot wallets, because they are on your computer, they have a digital footprint. So let's go again into the Metamask and let's see into the settings. You can reveal your private key, your seed phrase. And I think he was in security. Yeah. Okay, so this one is the seed phrase. Now it's called, like Metamask call it secret recovery phrase. So how does Metamask know my seed phrase? Because my Metamask has stored it into his memory, we can say, into the data of the application. The data of the application into your computer. So if somebody has access to your computer and to your password, they can access it. If somebody has access to your computer, they can access maybe the file where they is stored, and if they have all the time in the world, they can probably crack the encryption on into the file where Metamask saves your seed phrase, and then, you know, let's say like it's gonna just crack also your seed phrase. So a lot of people were just thinking, when there is a lot of people that are saying that their account has been compromised. This one is something that you don't need to share with anybody. You don't need to share it like what I'm doing here right now, like doing a share screen of my seed phrase. If somebody is recording, you know, like, and he's gonna just go and check, he has instant access to all the accounts that are created to this Metamask. This is a Metamask that has no value at all. I'm never gonna use it anymore, you know. But the idea is this seed phrase, if somebody gets this seed phrase, they can access all your funds. So this is the difference between hot wallets and cold wallets. The hot wallets are connected to the internet and very, very easy to use. You know, you don't have to connect anything hardware. You know, you just click a button and you send a transaction. You can buy an NFT with a click, but they're vulnerable. The cold wallets, basically your private keys or your seed phrase is stored securely into that hardware wallet. So that means that it's never connected to the internet, is never connected to your, doesn't have a digital footprint on your computer. If somebody takes your computer, they cannot get your seed phrase. If somebody is online and you are connected with your ledger, they cannot know your seed phrase unless you tell them. A lot of problems that are happening with phishing attack is that people are asking, okay, can you just, like, I'm OpenSea support and your NFT has been stolen. I can give you back your NFT if you just prove me that Bison is yours. Just show me your seed phrase so I can identify Bison as yours. And then people that are inexperienced are gonna just, okay, Bison is my seed phrase, and then the hackers are gonna just steal all their funds. So never share this one. Never store. For example, a lot of people are doing saving the seed phrase into the phone notes, into the Google Notes. This is very bad, because what's happened is that if somebody access your digital account, they can access your notes and they can just get your seed phrase. So how do we protect our seed phrase? We keep it in a hardware wallet. Now you're gonna say, okay, now I'm scared because I have all my belongings into like a hot digital wallet, and I have 1,000 NFTs. How can I transfer all of them into the hardware wallet? There is two ways. One way is to create a new account with your hardware wallet and transfer your most valuable items one by one. But Bison is gonna cost gas. So if you do Bison on Tezos, it's not gonna be a massive issue, because Tezos and like other proof of stake networks, they have very low gas cost, and so you can send, let's say like even 1,000 of NFTs or a lot of coins with not a lot of troubles. If it's like Ethereum and other like proof of work or like Bitcoin, Bison has a cost, and then you need to transfer singularly, and Bison it may be like very costly. Another way to do so is to remove your Metamask, remove your seed phrase from your computer, and set up your hardware wallet with your seed phrase that you had originally created from Metamask. This one is a less secure method, because anyway there was a footprint in your digital in your seed phrase, because it's been generated on your computer, and there is still a digital footprint. But if you delete all the traces, it's definitely more secure now than it was before. So there is not backup of the hardware wallet. Like if I lose the wallet, yes. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to go through the steps of setting up your Ledger wallet. And there we go, perfect. And so we can see, let's say like what is the backup and what are the backup options of the hardware wallet. So to access your account, you need your seed phrase. So your seed phrase, or called 24 words recovery phrase or 12 word recovery phrase, is what is important here. So this one is your backup. When you've created Metamask, you probably ask you to write down on a piece of paper. So this one is the best way. So create a copy of your seed phrase, multiple copies in a hardware format, so for example in paper, and store it into different places. So for example, give one to, I don't know, your a trusted person from your family. I don't know, let's say like give it to your I don't know, grandmother or somebody, just okay, just keep here this one, and another one, you keep it in your safe, is another paper copy. So then if something happens to your hardware wallet, you can go and get your paper copy of your seed phrase. Yes, those little pages are for that. Exactly. So what's happened when you just create an
To initialize.
when you get your ledger? You basically just connect it, and you need to download an app that is called Ledger Live app. This Ledger Live app works as a wallet and works also in a way to integrate into other wallets, like in a way to integrate into Metamask, for example. So what is important to note about the hardware wallet is that you see everything is going to be typed on the hardware wallet. So when you set up your hardware wallet, you don't input anything on your screen, on your keyboard. You input everything on your hardware wallet. So your hardware wallet doesn't communicate in any way what you are typing or what you are like your PIN number into your computer. So your computer doesn't know anything about what's happening into the ledger. Does the ledger store USDT? Yes, USDT is an ERC20 token, so it does. So basically, ledger crypto asset. Yeah. So basically, ledger supports all these coins or blockchains or protocols. There is a lot of coins are built on top of a network. So for example, if you have an Ethereum network and you have a USDC coin or USDT coin, is a ERC20 token, and is a token that is created on the Ethereum network, so you can send it with the Ethereum application. So you can store, because as well, we can say that your ledger doesn't store your coins. Your ledger store your private keys. So your account, your Ethereum account, is the one that stores your USDT. So in case of Temple, Felipe is asking if in case of Temple, I will continue to store Tezos in the browser wallet, but the transaction will be signed by the Ledger Live app, right? In that sense, the transaction confirmed in the hardware. Not really. So in case of Temple, you will have to do the same. So you need to get your seed phrase from Temple, set up your hardware wallet with the same seed phrase, delete your seed phrase from your Temple, create a new Temple wallet that works as a proxy, and then connect it. I'm gonna show how to do that right now. Actually, what is this concept of using a proxy? Actually, no. Let's go back a bit. I'm gonna just go through the setup of the wallet very quickly, and then we go back to these two questions. So when you start getting your ledger, okay, you can just follow this video. It's very simple. You know, if you go to Ledger Start and says you just follow this instruction, and it's saying to you what to do. You know, you just need to set up your PIN, and when you set up your PIN, you just write down your PIN, and then it's gonna ask you to. Let me just see if I can put this on bigger or not.
Right button to
is ask you to confirm the PIN, and then it's gonna just ask you to okay. So in here, at the beginning, you can decide if you want to configure a new device or if you want to import another seed phrase that you own. So if you in here, you import the same seed phrase that you have into your Temple wallet, or the same seed phrase that you have into your Metamask wallet, you're gonna import the same account into the hardware wallet. If instead you create a new account, a new device, configure as a new device, okay. So Felipe is asking, why do you have to use the same seed phrase? The answer is you don't have. So I'm going through two options. The first option is create a new account. The second option is to import your account that you already have into the ledger. So let's go through the first account, the first option. The first option is configure it as a new device. So what you do, you create a new account that never existed. So you just set up this new device, you set up your PIN, and the ledger is gonna give you a new recovery phrase, a new seed phrase. This one is a new seed phrase that is gonna generate your new account. What you need to do, you need to write down your seed phrase word by word, and it's very important that everything is in the exact order, because if you don't record your words into the exact order, you cannot go back and restore your wallet. So once you've done that, it's gonna ask you to just make sure that you have written down your words into the exact order and the exact word. So you just need to re-input all your words into that. So once the ledger knows that, okay, you did write down a copy of your seed phrase, you have a backup. This one is your only backup. If you lose that backup and you lose your ledger, you have lost your access to the funds. So it's very important, when you have your seed phrase, write down at least on 2 different pieces of paper. So if you lose one, you have a second one. And this piece of paper are included into the ledger as well, or you can use any piece of paper. So after you've set up your account, then you can install an application to your device. You're gonna just install the Ledger Live application. Is something that will look like this one. And with the Ledger Live application, you can go to each account and install an Ethereum application and install a Tezos application. This will allow basically for you to use Ethereum and Tezos and all the other blockchain that Ledger is supporting. So now, if this one is a new account and you've never used this account before, it's gonna be like a new account that doesn't exist into the blockchain, because in the blockchain exist only the things that have been through at least one single transaction. And so this wallet is very secure. If you just start sending funds and your NFTs to this wallet, basically, it's gonna be a different address. For example, in here, if I want to connect to an hardware wallet, I'm gonna open Ledger Live, and now it's gonna create a connection to my ledger. Now you see on the computer, I'm not inputting nothing. So now on my ledger, I'm gonna input my PIN. takes a bit of time to insert the pin. And select the application. And now you see it did bridge. So now my ledger is talking to my MetaMask and is connected. So now if I go into the MetaMask, it's gonna say, okay, which account do you want to import? You see that the ledger has all these accounts, because all these accounts have been generated directly, you know, from the original seed phrase. And so then what I'm gonna do, oh, now it's asking again to do it. I'm gonna just select my account and I'm gonna import it into there. Let me just do that again. Open that live. Okay. I think he's getting. Okay. Sorry, this one is a different. There we go. And now I have access to my ledger account. So you see now I have many accounts into my MetaMask, but the seed phrase of this ledger account is protected by my ledger. So there is no way that somebody can know this account. Even if I go into here and I go into the account details, you see in here I can see my public address, but I cannot see my private key because my private key is securely stored. So this one is the first way that you can set up your ledger and use your ledger. So you created a new account, you created a new key. So now if I want to use my ledger, if I want to use my ledger to just send funds, I can use the ledger application. I don't have to connect it to my MetaMask. But if I want to send NFTs, then I will have to connect it to my MetaMask. And if I want to buy an NFT, I need to interact with an application. I want to interact with Iketnunk. I'm going to connect it to Temple Wallet, and then I'm going to just be able to use my ledger. So what's going to happen? If I have to do any transaction now, every time that I want to do a transaction, when it's going to ask, do you want to sign this transaction is going to be sent into my hardware wallet, and I'm going to have to confirm by clicking physically into my hardware wallet how to set up the transaction and to confirm the transaction, because only my private key that is stored into the hardware wallet is available only into the hardware wallet. I hope this one a bit clarifies the step. If I want instead, you know, to import, I'm gonna disconnect this one. If I want to import an existing account, I can import an existing account also for a second example. Let's say that I lose my ledger and I buy a new ledger and I want to recover access to the funds that were in my first ledger that I set up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just reset up the ledger account, the ledger device, with the seed phrase from the previous ledger one, because it's the seed phrase that gives you the access. So the hardware wallet only holds the private key. So if I lose my ledger, nothing is lost. Everything is safe into the blockchain. So if I want to create, let's say that I think, you know, let's say that my account, I want to secure my account. This one is option number 2. I always add a hot wallet, and now, you know, I say, okay, you know, let's say like all my NFTs are a bit at risk. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just get my seed phrase, from here. Okay, and I'm gonna set up the hardware wallet into with this seed phrase. And then now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete this account from Metamask. Sorry, if I'm gonna delete these two accounts from Metamask, then, you know, let's say like Vision is gonna disappear. So what I'm gonna do now, I want to install Metamask another time. And you see in here, I can decide, I want to import my secret recovery phrase, or I want to create a new one. If you have set up your ledger with your seed phrase, you want to do that because you want that your seed phrase is not on your computer. So then what you're gonna do, you're gonna create a new wallet. And I'm gonna just get this one. So basically the process is very simple of what's gonna happen on Ledger when you're gonna set it up. It's just that Ledger, you need to click on the Ledger, the word by word, and it's gonna be a bit time consuming. Section Buffalo. Okay. So now this account is a different account than the one that I created before. But what I can do, I can connect my hardware wallet and I'm gonna retrieve my original account. But now, because on my computer there is a different seed phrase, this account, I can use it just as a proxy. I don't have to put any funds in it. I can just use it just, so if let's say that somebody goes into my computer and just say, okay, let's say like, I want to get your seed phrase that is in your MetaMask, they're gonna get this one. Instead, the one that we had before, and now is safely secured into our ledger, is this one. So now I'm doing the most unsecure thing ever, that is like share screening two seed phrases at the same time. But yeah, I think, let's say like this one is a necessary step if people want to understand exactly how to use wallets and keys. So let's go. Do you have any more questions so we can go through together? Felipe, did I answer your questions already, or do you want me to clarify a bit more?
Yes, I think you answered me all the questions. I just wanted to know like one question, like what's the main difference, because I'm not using MetaMask right now, so I'm like adapting all processes that you explained to Temple Wallet, but I think it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But what's the difference? Because so for the first method, you set up your ledger with a new seed phrase, you take note, and then you will have Ledger Live, and then you download the Tezos app, and then from your Temple you connect it to your Ledger, right? So from then on, because it got bridged, all the transactions will be confirmed through Ledger Live, right? Or not?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so what's the difference between the main difference between this method and this other proxy method that you
Yeah.
were talking about last?
Yeah. Okay. So let's make an example with the I'm gonna make an example this way. Okay. Sorry if I use OpenSea, but it just becomes easier for me. Okay. Vertical crypto. Okay. So let's say that I have this account on my MetaMask and has been set up on my MetaMask directly, not not in a not on the ledger. But now I'm worried that it's not secure enough. So what I can do, I can remove the account from the MetaMask and just add this account, because I'm gonna just keep the seed phrase into the ledger. So now all my belongings are gonna be, the private key that secure all my belongings is gonna be stored into the ledger, and it's not gonna be stored into the MetaMask. I create a proxy MetaMask that I don't intend to use. It's just I just create a proxy MetaMask, so then I can connect this new MetaMask account that I don't care at all about to my ledger account. So I'm gonna do the same. Let's say that if you want to secure your account, you want that your hot wallet become a digital wallet, you do this step. And then you can even use that one as a hot wallet, it's not a problem. If instead you want to create a new hot wallet, a new cold wallet that is not linked at all to anything of your belongings, just a new wallet, brand new, brand zero, you just set up a fresh seed phrase and you just transfer the fix that you want to transfer there.
In a way, what you're saying is like the second method is like extra safe.
Yes, the second method
Okay.
is extra safe. So the let's say like this, the most secure method is to create a seed phrase on paper that has never been on your computer, and actually in concept you can even create with a software, you can even create a private key and a public key pair, or write it down on paper, the cancel, let's say like the software from that computer, reset that computer, and that paper address and public key is the safest way possible to do it. Is what they were called like paper wallets. So before MetaMask and before people were just using paper wallet. I just want to see if there is maybe some images about paper wallets. Yeah, so you see this one was like the paper wallet.
Yeah.
So nothing of this one was coming out from was created from a computer but was not connected to the internet. When you delete the software from that computer that is not connected to the internet, reset your computer, and that is, if somebody knows, let's say like your private key, has to know by this number. So the most secure way is to set up a new ledger with a new seed phrase and just transfer your belongings to that new address, because that new ledger is going to give you a new Tezos address. This new Tezos address is going to be, we can say, let's talk about NFTs that people understand maybe better. It's going to be your vault. So when what you can do, you have a new address of your ledger account, and it's going to be called your vault address. So you send.
But let me just interrupt you for
Yeah.
1 second. Sorry.
No worries.
When you're saying that my main doubt is like once I set up a new ledger and I have a new seed phrase hardware created, because when like the setup video for the ledger, they uh, tell you to take notes on a paper
Yeah.
for your new seed phrase. So when I install the app of Tezos and I do the bridging process between the Ledger wallet and the Tezos wallet, does that mean that I'm gonna have two different wallets?
Yes.
Which, okay, so the Ledger wallet's gonna be like you said, like a vault.
Exactly. It's going to be the most secure wallet of the two because
Yeah.
your private key is stored into the Ledger wallet. They,
My only doubt about this is like, even though they're two different wallets, if I did the bridging, the transactions are still gonna be confirmed by Ledger Live, right?
yes.
And not Temple anymore.
No, only for the second address. Only for the vault address. So you have two
okay.
addresses. You have two addresses. So what you're securing with Ledger is just the second address. The first address is not secured because the first address is still saved on your Temple wallet.
Okay.
So it's not a big issue. I mean, you know, let's say like I wanted to discuss both options because, for example, there was like a lot of people that started collecting NFTs, and they got like a massive collection of NFTs, like thousands of NFTs. And then when NFTs, you know, were really cheap, and then what's happened? They said, okay, now I understand, because before I didn't know how it worked, that if somebody has my seed phrase, he's gonna steal all my NFT. If somebody has my private keys, he can steal all my NFT. So how can I do now? Okay, I just need to buy an hardware wallet and transfer all my funds into this hardware wallet. But now I have 1,000 NFTs to transfer. So it's gonna cost me a fortune. So yeah, there is an alternative to that because your NFTs are not stored into the ledger, it's just your private key. So what you do, you remove your private key from your computer and store your private key into the ledger, so automatically you have secured that account a bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, but if that seed phrase was compromised in the time that it was on your computer, then it's going to be compromised also on your ledger.
I got it. Right. But then, like, even though, like, so let's say I opt for the first option, which is bridging, like, even though I opt for the first option, like, does it still give me like an extra level of security, even though I'm gonna still be confirming transactions through Temple, like you said? Because then, like, what's gonna happen is, if I put some, let's say I put some Tezos in the vault, like earnings of something, and then the only time I'm gonna actually confirm transactions on the ledger is gonna be if I'm transferring things from the ledger to, let's say, I don't know, like a broker or something, right? Because then the, like, let's say the everyday transactions of, like, let's say like buying one or two pieces in the week and things like that from Hiket Nunk are still gonna be confirmed by Temple, right?
Correct. You don't need your ledger to do that. Your ledger, you just needed to confirm transactions from the address that is stored into ledger.
But even though those transactions are still going to be confirmed by Temple, like, having the bridge, does it give an extra level of security, or is it, like, I don't know, like, is it still good to do the first option? That's my doubt.
the vault option, you mean?
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. I mean, you know, let's say, like, but only, I mean, the extra layer of security is only for what you have on the vault, not for what you have on the hot wallet.
So if I use this method, I would have to constantly be transferring, like, let's say my Tez funds to my ledger so that they would be secured.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Your funds and your NFTs.
Yep. All right. But so in that case, like, the difference between this and the second option is that, like, by deleting your seed phrase from your computer, like, does all the transactions still get confirmed by the browser wallet, or does the fact that you delete it and then you relink it through the proxy change something?
Yes, because you've deleted and now you connected it and linked to the proxy. So now that account, every transaction has to be signed by the ledger, because your private key is not anymore on your computer, is only on your ledger.
I see.
So for Invert Scenario, your what was before a hot wallet now becomes a cold wallet. But you just need to make sure that you delete it from your computer, because if you don't delete it from your computer, then you're gonna have a hot wallet saved into a cold wallet, but it's still at risk.
I see.
So
So does that work the same way for Temple? Like, do you just? I mean, I can GM you again if I want to like go for the second method, because I from what I see, like doing the first method as far as like everything you have to do is probably the easiest one.
yeah,
But I think the second one seems more safe, because then like your cold wallet's gonna be your main wallet, right? So all your everyday transactions are gonna go through the ledger. Is that correct?
yes. Or what you can do, you can use the proxy as a hot wallet, and you can use the proxy to do this kind of like little transfers.
Okay.
But definitely anybody of you, because I understand that this one is a very sensible matter. If any of you want to do it, just DM me, and if you have any doubt, we can just jump on a call, and we just we just stay there together, and let's say like we can go step by step all together. I didn't want to go step by step all together now, because it's important that we understand how things works in a way, and also because maybe let's say like everybody has his own different pace on let's say like clicking things and checking things, so it was probably like more boring than what it is. I hope that I didn't let's say like I hope that I was not too boring with my bringing up this concept, but
It was great.
but I think let's say like this one, once you have this kind of knowledge, you can really own what is let's say like the power of owning your private key, of be your own bank, of understanding the decentralization, and understanding that you have a responsibility of your belongings. When you have a centralized exchange or a centralized bank, you entrust a third party to do this securities measure for you. And so some people, maybe they don't want this hassle, because if you think about there is going to be Coinbase NFT marketplace releasing soon. NFT marketplace is going to be like, probably they're going to have like a custodial wallet, will probably be in custody of your NFT. A Nifty Gateway in a way, like Nifty Gateway. On Nifty Gateway, you can transfer your NFTs out of the wallet, or you can keep your NFT into Nifty Gateway. But because you don't have your private key of the NFTs that are in Nifty Gateway, if NFT that are in Nifty Gateway tomorrow go busted and they block everything, you don't have a way to access your NFTs. So you need to entrust Nifty Gateway to keep it safe and to give it back to you. As you probably know, in many countries, it became a problem when national authorities started to seize funds, block funds of people. And let's say like, if you have your own private key and you know what does it matter and you know how to do that, nobody can take your money, nobody can block your money, nobody can block your NFTs, because you are the only one that has the private key. So you are the only real owner that can decide. Of course, if you lose your private key, then you're going to lose the access to all the funds. It's going to be a big problem. So it's important to understand that you have this power, but you have also this responsibility. In this NFT world, crypto world, there is a lot of scams. A lot of people are sending messages. Click on this link. As a norm, they say like, as a norm, do not click on any link, do not open any file, do not download any file. Everything that is about transactions, and just use applications that are trustworthy. For example, let's talk about Tezos. Okay, so I use ObjectPaid. because it's trustworthy. I use iket_nunc because it's trustworthy, so I can connect my temple and send transactions to that. This is what is important, just connect your wallet to trustworthy application. Sign transactions that are trustworthy.
Yes. Thank you, Phil. That was very good. I was feeling a little bit lost in the ledger matter because I thought it was way harder to understand and just work around. But
yeah,
I feel like
I think it sounds a bit harder than it is, but once you do it and once you set it up, then you just understand that it's very simple. You just understand that, okay, let's say I have this private key. If I put this private key into my MetaMask, I'm gonna access my fund. If I don't, so anybody that has this can do that. So
I have just one last question about this, the steps of the second option. So when you say that you transfer your private key from your browser wallet to the ledger, and then you delete that browser wallet, does that mean that when you're gonna set up the ledger, you're gonna import that one seed phrase, let's say, from the temple wallet, or are you gonna create a new one in the setup process, like the very starting one of the ledger?
no, I'm gonna import it.
Oh, okay, that was
So,
my doubt. So
I-
basically, what you do is you start setting up the ledger, and when you're supposed to get a new key, you just import the
Yes.
your wallet one. Okay, all right.
Yes. So basically, let me just get this one. Okay. So because it's a mnemonic word, so what you're gonna do, instead of being the ledger that gives you the words, you are the one that gives the words to ledger. So you say, instead of saying set up a new one, sorry, I have a few things.
When you do that, does your TES address stay the same?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. When you do that, your Tezos address is the same. So basically, you keep the same address. If you get a new one, if you create a new one, no, it's a different. So
Okay.
and this is the key point is gonna be here.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So when he's asking,
So you create the pin first, right?
no, first I think is asking you if you want to configure as a new device.
Oh, yeah,
Instead
yeah.
of clicking yes, you need to click no.
Yeah.
This one is the key difference. If you configure as a new device, you go the option for, then you're gonna set up a pin and everything. It's gonna ask the same questions, but instead of here, it's giving you the word. You see the word one is fabric. Instead, it's gonna say, okay, you are importing your seed phrase. What is your first word? Okay, my first word is bless. And you're gonna just input it by clicking into those little buttons on the top.
When you're inputting it, do you have to navigate through a bunch of words when you're importing the
Yes.
seed phrase?
Yes, exactly. It's very similar to this.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So
compare.
my last question would be when you just imported your seed word to the ledger, then when you're gonna set up the wallet again after you have deleted it on the browser, let's say for Temple, you're gonna import a wallet again and use the same seed phrase?
No. For the proxy, you create a new one.
Oh yeah, okay.
So then you have the proxy one is the one that is at risk.
And then you bridge the proxy.
And then you bridge the proxy. Yeah.
All right. So if I have an account that has funds already and I want to bridge a proxy, I would have to transfer those funds to the broker first and then just abandon my current account?
Not really. No, you can keep using your. So So if you want to keep your current account, so you want to keep your current account and do what with that? Just to keep, you want 2 accounts or you want 1 account?
I guess I'll do the second method. Maybe I think it's the safest, and I'm just thinking that if every transaction gets confirmed by the ledger, that's probably better, right?
Yes, it is. It depends. You know, you can still have some transactions that are like not confirmed by the ledger. You know, but that's, you know, let's say like that's a different matter. Sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, if you have any doubts, no worries. I'm happy to spend time with you guys on a one-to-one and do this. You know, understand what is your need and understand what is the best way to set it up.
All right. I'll DM you, and then we can find a suitable time.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Thank you very much for the intro. It was light shedding.
No worries. I'm gonna just stop sharing my screen now. Okay. I still have a few minutes. If somebody has any more questions.
Great. I'm gonna head out. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you, Phil.
Take
Thank you very
care,
much.
no worries.
I just want to thank you because we had that other class about security and I was really confused, and I was already like watching tutorials from the Ledger website and trying to figure out how is the better method to save my things. And I think now I really got what I can choose to do, you know, like these 2 ways, and this way to proxy things is really good. Yeah, thank you so much.
Wonderful.
I
Yeah.
want to say thank you because I also thought it was very, very confused about everything before. I'm less so now. So thank you so much for that. And I actually didn't know many of the functions of the ledger. So thank you so much for sharing. Thanks.
Pleasure. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna close it here. As I said, DM me, tag me into the chat, and then, you know, let's say like if you want to help setting up, we set up, you know, and we do it. You know, you know, we can understand what is your need, and we do it together. No problem at all. I think security is very important. Also, if you have any problems regarding security or any doubt about security as well, I mean, you know, let's say like I'm not an extreme security expert, but navigating the space, you start learning a lot of things. And just drop a message into the chat, tagging me, and, you know, let's say like, and then we can see like, you know, let's say like Vision seems suspicious, or, you know, like no problem at all. We can go through security together. Okay, have a lovely day, guys. Ciao, ciao.